Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just click the link in the show description to support now.
I want to remind you to check out Zencastr, Zencastr. That is my favorite program to use for all my recording needs. And the great part is, not only do they have audio, but they also have video options as well. So whether you're video conferencing, podcasting, just catching up with friends and loved ones, you definitely want to check out Zencastr. They have paid subscriptions. They also have a free version, which I'm actually using right now. Transcripts, the whole 9 yards, and even, get this, Zencastr has started to do hosting. So for all you podcasters out there, if you're looking for a host for your show, please consider Zencastr. You will not regret it. I'm telling you right now. Once again, Zencastr. Made on Zencastr. That's right.
Locked in.
Look at what we have here, folks.
To the only show that matters.
The cream of the crop.
Duke loves Rasslin.
And there is no one that does it better than
your host.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
The Duke.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hello, my name is Xero News, and you're listening to Duke Loves Rasslin.
You know, folks, when it comes to the Duke Loves Rasslin podcast, I have a reputation for having the most talked about people, not only in wrestling, but within the internet wrestling community, media, and what have you. When you tweet about them, when you talk about them on all your different social media platforms, it gets to a point where I don't like talking about someone or talking around someone. I want to talk directly to them. And I respect my audience enough that I will seek out and bring these folks onto the show so you can hear directly from the source. You don't have to wonder or guess, make up stuff. You're not going to hear it anywhere else. You're going to hear it directly from the actual subject. And then you can make up your mind how you feel about what they have to say. So let me just put up this disclaimer for all you new people listening, because, you know, we have gained a lot of unique visitors, which we appreciate you. Welcome. But I want to make something clear to everybody out there. It is not my job to fact check my guests, and I'm not going to do it. Okay? I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to give them room to express themselves. And if somebody else wants to play fact checker later, or if you want me to do a fact check episode where we review some of the things said on this episode, that's okay. But I'm not here to quote unquote fact check the guest. I'm going to make my guest as comfortable as possible so they can speak as much as possible. So I want to make that clear if you're new, folks, because certainly this guest here is someone that you either love or you can't stand. Every single minute, somebody's tweeting about this. So I figured, you know what? This is great. This is a great person to have on the show so they can express themselves. Without further ado, Xero News officially. Welcome to the Duke Loves Rasslin podcast.
Hello. Hello, Duke.
Now you're clearing your throat, you're coughing and all that. You sound like you're, I don't know, man. You're either smoking or you're getting over something. What's going on over there?
Get over something. Yeah, I haven't been very well. So, but no, I'm all right now. I seem to be all right now.
Well, we're glad that your health is well enough, that you're back on track and you're able to be here and speak with us. And you know, obviously, best to your family as well. Hope everyone stays healthy over there. You know, Xero, I'm not going to dance around. I'm just going to get straight to it here, because my number one question for you is very simple. Are you a plant? And what I mean by that is, are you someone who's being employed by either someone affiliated with or actually a wrestling promotion? Are you a plant?
No, I'm not. I simply am just a fan who managed to acquire some sources and, you know, just literally just get the information through and just post it on as you do. I'm not associated with any company whatsoever. You know, companies have approached me and that, and someone said, "Oh, would you like to join our press teams? Would you like to do this, would you like to come on to some of our shows and stuff? But no, I'm not associated at all with any company.
Okay, so no company and no people affiliated with specific wrestling companies are paying you off to get you to try to say certain things?
Nope, nothing at all.
Okay. All right.
No one at all.
You got a little bit of an accent there, and certainly me being a guy from Boston, I know about accents. I'm not going to ask you specifically where you are because certainly with the amount of heat that you get online, I don't want to make you feel like I'm trying to dox you or anything, but it's safe to assume that you're not in the United States. Can I ask that?
Yeah, I'm definitely not in the United States. I'm British. I'm in Britain right now.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is interesting to me because you cover primarily promotions that are based in the United States of America, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's correct, yeah. Yep.
So how the heck is a guy who's not in this country and who's somewhere else in the world, how are you able to get as much breaking news and inside stuff as you are? You're not even here.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Well, it all started off when I've actually been about for quite a while. It's I've just been not sort of, I didn't do it publicly. What I had was I knew somebody on the inside at WWE. I won't obviously say how, but because obviously to try and protect people, but I knew somebody on the inside at WWE who was sending me a few tidbits here and there. And I was just sharing it in group chats and, with a few friends and stuff like that. And then I managed to get out I put something out publicly, which was, I believe, the news about T-Bar getting his repackage. And then the very next day, I know that PW Insider picked it up. And, as soon as that happened, I obviously blew up, basically. Everyone's seen that. People were, some of my followers were commenting on PW Insider's posts to me and say, oh, yeah, Xero had this first, blew up and stuff. But no, that's how it was I got I had one source originally, which I was using through people who I know. I'll just say, I'll do that one. And then surprisingly, actually, I had somebody else actually approach me. They actually added me on social media and started DMing me and proved to me that they were legit, proved to me that they worked at WWE. And, it's gone from there. And now I've now gone from 2 sources and I've actually now got 4 sources by word of mouth and stuff like that. Basically, people have actually approached me for it and stuff like that.
When it comes to breaking news, it's because, the stuff that you're putting out is stuff that the average fan doesn't know. You're releasing quote unquote inside information. Does it worry you that because you're putting out such sensitive information, whether it's true or not true in the end, but because it's so sensitive, are you concerned that people may try to target you and come after you for doing stuff like this?
Possibly a little bit. I mean, what I've started doing recently is rather than just getting it from the one place, which is what I was starting off before, and I'll openly admit that, I was just using just one source. I'm now fact checking it with all 4 so that see whether they've actually checked on it as well. Plus, I'll openly admit I've got some wrestlers that follow me, and some of these wrestlers, in fact, as well, say to me, in DMs and stuff like, we've seen your bit of news and stuff, and we can confirm that this has been, this has been spoken about backstage, or, we've done that way. I mean, I've literally, before I came onto here, I actually ended up having a conversation with WWE PR. And they've seen my account. They fully know who I am. They don't seem to, they didn't say anything to me about that. I've had a bit of a conversation about a story, which I can't really say too much about, but other than that, they know I'm releasing news. They know that, I do that, but then I'm not, as what they've said to me is I'm not one of the big boys at the moment. I'm not a Fightful. I'm not a PW Insider. I'm not, a Dave Meltzer or anything like that. So they're not 100% concerned because they know I've only got like a relatively small audience. Yes, it's growing and stuff, but I'm still new to the business. I'm still new, I'm still new to it all. I'm not a threat to them at the moment. That's what they're saying.
That's interesting. That's interesting that you have at least been acknowledged in that regard. So the fact that they're telling you that you're at least on the radar, though.
Yeah. Well, I've been told by by two of my sources, in fact, within the past 48 hours, that my name is brought up in meetings. Some of the stuff that I'm sending out there, whereas like a couple of days beforehand, and like other people, other places like Fightful and stuff like that aren't mentioning it, or PW Insider aren't mentioning it, I am being brought up in the meetings and that. But well, they've said that my name's been mentioned backstage, and for example, I won't obviously name the wrestler because of I don't want to obviously get them sort of in trouble or anything like that, just in case obviously WWE are listening. But I actually had a wrestler add me, and they turned around and said, I added you because I heard your name being talked about backstage in WWE. So that says something there a little bit.
Interesting. I mean, listen, Zero, I got to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Your page has only been around, it's been around for less than 2 years on Twitter.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting. So I had already been receiving information that WWE was purposely putting out bad info. And this goes back almost a year and a half when I first was told this directly by some folks. And, you know, I could see it happening because suddenly Dave Meltzer was getting a lot of stuff wrong. And to the point where he actually acknowledged the fact that he was being given misinformation. And then I saw, you know, guys like Paywall Jesus, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful. He was getting a lot of stuff wrong. And you know, Sean is going to take very strong offense to me saying that out loud. I will say Sean gets even more right. You know, it's clear that he has some strong sources. So I'm not trying to disparage the guy, but I did notice that he was whiffing on a few things there, and it was a lot more than what we had seen before that. So it got to the point where it's like, okay, well, that piece of information that I received is correct. So there's definitely a disinformation campaign happening, whether people realize it or not. So your page comes along. And I noticed that you were getting so many things right that it was very unusual for a new page to pop up and get so many things right. And now, over the past 6 months in particular, you've been missing a lot more than you had been before then. So I'm going to tell you my personal opinion. I feel like you may be a disinformation page, whether you realize it or not. I feel like that you're a tool being utilized by the WWE. This is my assessment. And I feel like you're being told to put out certain things in order to gain enough credibility. And now you're given half truths and things that may not 100% be accurate, like the whole Bray Wyatt being on Raw thing. I think you're being given bad info on purpose, whether you realize it or not, in order to throw everybody off. Because at this point, I think everybody's paying attention to your page. And whether they like it or not, I think everybody is fact checking and double checking what they think they know and double checking with their sources every time you tweet something. Give me your opinion on what I just said, because I'm not trying to insult you. I'm just letting you know based on what I've seen. I'm concerned that either you're purposely doing it or you're being misled.
Yeah, no, in fact, let me just try and see if I can scroll back and find it. I do know that a couple of days ago, I can't remember when exactly it was, I actually put out myself the information on WWE is passing out fake information to certain people. Again, this was a conversation which I was having with a couple of people who I know, and some other sources as well have also been speaking to me and have told me as well, is that they are, as it says, they're trying to take out the big boys. I don't know who they count down as the big boys, but they're trying to take out the big boys, and they are purposely spreading misinformation, I know, at WWE over the past couple of weeks / months to try and find people's sources. Because whereas obviously when it was Vince beforehand, he was a little bit more sort of lenient towards it. Hunter now, basically, he wants to try and shut it all down, and he wants to try and obviously purposely stop all leaks completely. So, I mean, I do know that I do know now, and I have obviously, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've obviously got a bit quiet the past couple of days on there. I do know that there's a lot of information coming out which is fake, and a lot of misinformation being sent down. So unless I've got it 100% now, I'm not confirming it at all. I'm not putting it out or anything like that now at all either, because of, unless multiple sources have heard it, which they're not all just in one department, like certain people, like certain sources have everyone just in creative or in production or whatever. I've got them sort of spread out throughout the business. Unless I've heard it from multiple departments and that I'm not actually putting out any information now. That's the way I've sort of started going now, just to try and be a little bit more sort of wary on things. And yeah, the Bray on Raw thing was, I do believe that was some dodgy information which I was given, and other bits and pieces in that as well, which have come up. And since then, I've actually spoken to the source who has given me that information, and did turn around and say, it seems to be that they're producing, well, he's been told directly that WWE are actually producing fake run sheets now as well, because they know that obviously, like, for the likes of like myself and Sean and everything like that are getting the run sheets out, they're purposely sending out some fake run sheets just to try and catch out who's leaking and stuff, and try and make us look like idiots, as it's known, so that we either shut down our pages or just stop leaking stuff in the end. That's the information which I've been given myself. So yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I'm talking to Xero News, literally one of the most polarizing figures in all of the internet wrestling community, the wrestling media community. A very interesting person here. Xero, how have the other content creators treated you, especially in the media space? I'm not asking you to name names, although certainly if you want to, you're more than welcome to. We've said names like Meltzer and Sapp and what have you. But generally speaking, how are these folks responding to the fact that you have become competition for them?
Well, I'll name a few. I'm blocked by a fair few of them. A fair few of them have blocked me. That would be, again, Meltzer. He's blocked me. I don't know why Meltzer's blocked me. I found out the other week that I'm actually blocked by PW Insider as well. No idea why. Fightful, they're all right with me and that. And I mean, I've had a couple of conversations with Sean. Obviously, I won't divulge into those conversations, but I've had a couple of conversations with Sean. A couple of ones who do like YouTube videos and stuff like that, they're all right with me and stuff. And I'm friendly with a couple of them and stuff. I mean, I guess a lot of them kind of see it as, oh, this person's on our patch now and stuff like that. But nobody's actually said any ill words, not what I've seen. I mean, they might have spoke behind a block about me, but I don't purposely go out and search my name or anything like that. I don't go out and vanity searching or anything like that, really. So I don't really know what people have been saying, to be fair.
Is what you're doing sustainable? I mean, there's so many people out there who are just like you, where they know someone on the inside and that someone wants information to get out. They have their reasons for that, but not everyone turns into a rumors media source, which that's what you are at this point. But is that sustainable? I mean, what happens if that's someone or someone's that you're connected with either, get let go from the company or something else happens where they stop communicating? I mean, how is that going to affect your ability to do what you're doing?
Yeah, that is something which I've been thinking about. I mean, that's why I've now got a few more, and there is ways to try and see if you can obviously get hold of a few more and stuff. But if it happens that everyone goes or people get found out or get released or whatever, then it will just be a stop. I'll put out that I've had to stop due to reasons, and I do know there has been some accounts in the past which WWE have actually shut down because they've actually had either the leaks and that are too good, or or they've obviously lost like all the sources and stuff like that. So I don't obviously know how long this is going to keep going for. I don't know sort of like how, what sort of the next stages will be, but I guess I'll just obviously just end up, if I do end up obviously losing everyone and I can't get the information out, I'll, make a public statement out and then just either change to a personal account of mine just as a wrestling fan, or just disappear basically for a little bit.
Has all of this been worth it for you? I mean, are you in a position where it's starting to become worth your time financially?
Yeah, I mean the website and that we get hits on, and that's all. Well, I don't know whether you've seen the amount of ads that are on there, but obviously all the website hits and obviously all get done on that way. And we've just launched a Patreon and stuff like that as well, so there is people paying for that as well. Which I'll put out. We will be putting out a lot more stuff through our Patreon rather than Twitter soon. So I mean, it is getting financially there. It's just that I know I've had a few people moan when I turned around and said that I was going to start paywalling stuff, like Fightful and stuff like that. And I understand that people are now obviously want their news for free and stuff, but at the end of the day, when it comes to it, you've got to start thinking about, safety for the account, safety for the sources and everything like that. Because if it's all free and it's public all over Twitter, then you're going to get shut down a lot quicker and stuff. And, they won't be financially stable and stuff up from it. So it is helping a little bit financial wise.
Personally, I feel that there are so many people out there who are discussing you and things that you were posting initially, and they're making money off of it. So why shouldn't you, as the original person who broke the news, why shouldn't you benefit from it financially? So that's my take on all of that. Certainly folks like Fightful have done a fantastic job of cracking the code, so to speak, and figuring out how to get people to spend money, whether they're accurate or not. People spend a lot of money on accurate news, and they spend a lot of money on news that is just flat out wrong. And yet they're paying the money. So kudos to Fightful for cracking the code. And it's ironic because it's not like they're one of there are so many wrestling news websites that get more hits than them, according to the research that I've done. But yet, when it comes to the amount of money that they're bringing in, especially on Patreon, they're kicking everybody's butt. So for you to come on as the new kid on the block, I think you can take a good chunk of that change that Fightful is making on a monthly basis. In fact, Sean, I think Fightful needs to buy Xero News out before they turn into the next Burger King or Pepsi or even beyond. I think Xero News is the biggest threat that Fightful has ever seen. And I believe that people are going to be more inclined to give information to Xero News because unlike Fightful, I don't see Xero News cussing people out, threatening to challenging them to fist fights and things of that nature. So who are you going to be more likely to get information to, folks? So again, I'm just giving it the way I see it. I don't care who takes offense. I don't care who likes what I said. This is the way that I see it. I think Fightful needs to write a fat check and buy Xero News out before Xero News puts Fightful out. Okay, that is my opinion on that. Xero, do you have any thoughts on what I just said?
Like I said earlier on, I am going to start very soon launching more stuff through Patreon, like stories and stuff like that. And I've worked out that through my Patreon, I can do it for $3, whereas obviously Fightful's $5 or whatever. My Patreon's $3, which all the news and that will be going underneath that. So if people do want to pay as well, it's cheaper than Fightful and it's cheaper than all the others. I'm not sure how much like Brad Shepard and stuff like that charges. I think he's about maybe $4.50. But yeah, so I'm not really going to say too much more on the front of Fightful and everything like that and buying out or stuff. But I mean, if Sean wants to contact me or one of the other ones want to contact me in relation to a buyout, then I'll have a conversation.
Sean Ross Sapp, open up Jimmy Van. Forget about Sean because Sean is just a minority owner. Jimmy Van, big shot. You said you got over 3 million hits, and you took offense to me pointing out that these other websites are kicking your butt in traffic. That's the research I did, man. I'm going to third party information, folks, to get that. But Jimmy Van, you need to open up the checkbook. And you need to write a fat one for Xero News and stop this guy before it gets too far. You need to buy this guy out because I'm telling you right now, and I'm telling every wrestler out there on the planet right now, I don't see Xero News out there saying that they're going to kick everybody's you-know-what. Okay, but I do see Xero News putting information out there. And, Xero News hits and Xero News misses, but just like everybody else. You cannot control the fact that your sources are limited to what they know unless they're the actual decision maker. Plans do actually change. And more importantly, there is a disinformation campaign, and Xero News is definitely being used. That's my strong opinion based on the information that I'm getting on the inside. And based on what I've seen of Xero News, I do feel like you're being manipulated to a certain degree. And I think that WWE is benefiting from what you're doing, which is why they're allowing you to exist, why they're not going out of their way to shut you down, like you said, like they've done to other people. I do wonder about AEW, though, because I don't see as much AEW news out of you. Do you just not have sources over there?
We used to, but I let our AEW source go because he was, well, I say he, it was, I've had two. I've had a male and a female, and they were both putting out information that was very, very incorrect. And it was causing me and the company a lot of issues, through comments and posts and everything. So we decided to scrap AEW Insider stuff, unless it's obviously come from, like, I'll retweet AEW Insider stuff from, say, like if it's from Fightful or, again, other places and stuff like that, who I know do definitely have AEW sources. But no, for the minute, I don't actually have an AEW source, and I haven't actually purposely approached AEW, or haven't actually had anyone from AEW actually approach me to say, hey, we'll do this for you, and would you like some insider information and stuff. I've not actually had any of that, and I'm not purposely going out of my way to do that due to the experience that I've actually had from my previous AEW sources.
Well, I think with all the shenanigans happening in AEW, there are definitely a lot of people out there that want to talk. So certainly AEW folks, Xero News, once again, I don't think he's someone that's going to be challenging you physically or anything like that. He just wants the news. And if you have accurate news, this may be an option for you. Listen, Xero, I've shared my opinion. I think that it's fantastic that you've made time to come on the show and stand firm. That's all I ask. Stand firm and tell the world who you are. And let's get rid of some of this doubt, because again, there's so many people that talk about you and talk around you. Very few are actually speaking directly to you and trying to find out from you what the real deal is. So, hopefully this is a step in that direction and everybody else can follow suit. Why don't you plug away the social media, the Patreon, everything? What's the best way folks can keep up with you?
Well, most of the stuff is going out on Twitter, and anything that we do post on any of our other places, such as the website, that automatically posts to our Twitter page anyway. Patrons on automatic posts to the Twitter page. Basically I would just say, just carry on watching the Twitter, the @NewsZero, and anything that we do post, again, YouTube shows, anything like that, really, it all just is on automatic posts, and it will automatically come out. And I mean, for the minute, I've shut down my DMs because they were just getting a little bit ridiculous. But if anyone does want to communicate, next Monday, in fact, I'll be reopening up my DMs again, and I'm one of the ones that will actually respond to DMs, and we'll talk to people via DMs and that. So if they do want any information privately, or again, if anyone does want to contact me who's not following me and that, I will happily speak to them and happily give them some information to whatever I've got, and for that, really. So yeah, that's the best way, is literally through Twitter. That's the best way to get hold of me at the moment, I'd say.
Hi, my name is Shauna Bannon from Dublin, Ireland. I'm a professional mixed martial artist fighting under Invicta FC, and I'm here now on Duke Loves Rasslin.
Folks, be kind to yourselves, and then be kind to others. Catch you next week.
This is Tony Schiavone, and we're desperately out of time on Duke Loves Rasslin.